Hey y'all, it is your girl Kelly back with you guys once again. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and welcome to the Unbecoming podcast. If you guys are new here, I hope you will really click subscribe, guys. I'm trying to get that subscriber count up, y'all. If everyone who watches this video would just click subscribe, honestly guys, that would make my whole entire day. So I hope you will join me on this adventure. If you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back, and I hope you will like this video if you like it. Hit me with a comment, hit me with a, share. Whatever you guys can do for me, I would appreciate if you would do it, and I love you so much for doing that. So guys, what are we talking about today? So we're going to start off with this here. Happy birthday to America, guys! Woo! We love to see it, y'all. So I missed yesterday. I was going to get a jump on here and just talk about the 4th of July. Give America that shout out that it deserves. But unfortunately, one thing led to another. One drink led to another. One activity, one firework. We all know how the 4th of July goes, guys. So I did not make it on here, but I did just want to acknowledge and celebrate the birth of America, the greatest country that ever was, the greatest country that ever will be. And guys, we're in here. We are here. We love America. At least on this podcast, the Unbecoming podcast, Unbecoming loves America, and we want to wish it a happy birthday. Before we get into more serious topics, guys, we're going to get into a little bit of seriousness, but I wanted to start off with that and just say that, all these people, all these posers out here that claim to hate America, they're ignorant, guys. What can we say to them? What can we say to these people? Just that they're ignorant and delusional. If they are hating America, I would suggest them to go live in any other country and let me know how that goes for you. I doubt they'll do it. I doubt they'll do it. But, if you're a hater of America, I implore you, just look to Canada. Look to Canada. Look to Justin Trudeau's little bitch ass and tell me, where else would you prefer to live but this great country? So we just want to acknowledge that. We want to say happy 4th, and I hope you guys had a great holiday. I hope you guys celebrated, because it is something to celebrate, and we're not going to pretend that it isn't on this podcast here. So what else are we going to get into today, guys? But of course, the mass shootings that seem to be plaguing this world. And what do I mean by that? Well, some might say that there's a gun issue in America, or just in general in the world. Some might say that there's a mental health issue. Some might say that, we need to repeal the Second Amendment. I would never say that. Guys, I never would. The Second Amendment is the greatest, one of the greatest amendments. It's top 2, y'all. Literally. Free speech and the right to bear arms. That's why they put it number 1 and number 2, guys, because it's a 1-2 hitter quitter. And we love those rights that we have here in America that were bestowed upon us via the Creator and enforced by the Constitution. But some people don't see it that way, guys. So I just wanted to kind of get on here, talk a little bit about some of the shootings that I have been seeing, not even just in this country, but all across the world. So let's get into some of those articles, guys. We're going to first talk about a story that is out of, let's see, I believe it is Denmark. Oh, no, Denmark. So Copenhagen. So we're going to start there, guys, because everyone always tries to say, that mass shootings are an American issue, and they're not. As we can clearly see here from this article, which is from CBSNews.com. 3 killed as gunmen opened fires at shopping mall in Danish capital, Copenhagen. So guys, I don't know if you heard about this or not. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you heard, and let me know what you think, of course, as always. So let's get into this article. Danish police believe a shopping mall shooting that left 3 people dead and 4 others seriously wounded was not terror-related, and said Monday that the gunman acted alone and appears to have selected his victims at random. So, Copenhagen Police Chief Inspector Soren Tommensen said the victims, a 17-year-old boy and a 17-year-old girl, both Danes, and a 47-year-old Russian man, were killed when the gunman opened fire on Sunday afternoon in the Fields shopping mall, one of Scandinavia's biggest. 4 other people were treated for gunshot wounds, 2 Danish and 2 Swedish citizens, and were in critical but stable condition, Tomlinson said. Several other people received minor injuries as they fled the shopping mall, he added. So guys, what is the argument that the left has for this? Everyone always says that the mass shooting problem is just so, specific to the United States. And that we are so bad that our citizens are the only ones out here committing mass shootings. Then how do you explain this shooting that took place in Denmark? I'm sure that Denmark, and I'll be honest, I did not look at the specific gun-related laws, but I know that Denmark is not one of the places that has a Second Amendment. We're the only country, actually, that does, but I know that, like, Scandinavia and those countries that are in Northern Europe do not believe in gun rights, do not believe, and probably have very strict measures in place for their citizens to even be able to obtain a firearm. So how did this happen, guys? Is it a mental illness? Is it a problem with a decaying society? I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments below. So, continuing with the article. Okay. Tomlinson said police had no indication that anyone helped the gunman, identified as a 22-year-old Dane, during the attack. Which is another reoccurring theme, guys, here, is that, like, it's usually young people, and specifically, of course, young men, which, I don't know, I mean, you could read a lot more into the coincidences and the differences and all of the things that kind of link all of these crimes, these mass shootings, and the suspects that perpetuate them. You could honestly argue conspiracy, you could argue mental illness. You could argue a lot of things. And sorry guys, if you hear, as always, if you hear any noise in the background, it's just my 2 wiener dogs fighting. They get real riled up when we talk politics over here, okay? So they have to let their voice be heard, so just please excuse me. Sorry if you hear them, forgive me. So, all of the arguments about what perpetuates and what causes these shootings and these young people to act in this manner as if they're crying out for help or as if they have some sort of, vendetta against society, it makes you wonder what's going on in the heads of these young people. So, okay, he said while the motive was unclear, there was nothing suggesting terrorism, and that the suspect would be arraigned later Monday on preliminary charges of murder. Danish broadcaster TV2 published a grainy photo of the alleged gunman, a man wearing knee-high shorts, a vest or sleeveless shirt, and holding what appeared to be a rifle in his right hand. He seemed very violent and angry. Eyewitness told TV2. He spoke to me and said, the rifle, isn't real, as I was filming him. He seemed very proud of what he was doing. So, I don't know if we have that picture here, but apparently these are just some random people. Okay, great. Love that we get to see this. Look at this little girl. I'm sorry, this is not funny, but look at her face. She looks a mixture of confused as well as over it. So, we're not gonna laugh, guys, because this is not funny. But that was, that little girl's face was cute. So, anyways, images from the scene showed people running out of the mall in panic. After the shooting, a big contingent of heavily armed police officers patrolled the area, with several fire department vehicles also parked outside the mall. So, guys, have y'all heard of this occurrence that happened in Denmark. What do y'all think? And do you guys agree that this is not specifically an American-born problem? This is a problem, like I said, of decaying society, and this is a problem of our young people having spent the last 2 years trapped in this, like, I don't know, this crazy, like, internet world that the leftists and the globalists tried to put everyone in during the time of COVID, because they tried to say that it was like for everyone's health and that, you know, this was the best thing for everyone. But I really feel like it brought a lot of mental strife, and it brought a lot of issues for our young people, like the people that are 25 and younger, because those people are at the prime of their life and they're meant to be interacting with one another, and they're meant to be, you know, having real life experiences. So to put them, you know, lock them up in their houses and scare the living shit out of them in the time of COVID, I really feel like was a huge mental strife on these people. And we're kind of seeing the fruits of all that brought to bear. So we're going to jump right into the next story, guys, about the Chicago 4th of July shooting. 6 dead and 30 hurt in shooting at Chicago area 4th of July parade. And this is from AP News. Okay? So, Highland Park. A gunman on a rooftop opened fire on an Independence Day parade in suburban Chicago on Monday, killing at least 6 people, wounding at least 30, and sending hundreds of marchers, parents with strollers, and children on bicycles fleeing in terror, police said. Authorities said a man, named as a person of interest in the shooting, was taken into police custody Monday evening after an hours-long manhunt in and around Highland Park, an affluent community of about 30,000 on Chicago's North Shore. The July 4th shooting was just the latest to shatter the rituals of American life. Schools, churches, grocery stores, and now community parades have all become killing grounds in recent months. This time the bloodshed came as the nation tried to find cause to celebrate its founding and the bonds that still hold it together. I don't like the way AP News worded that. The nation tried to find cause to celebrate its founding. Where do you have to try to find cause to celebrate that? I mean, there is cause to celebrate that. That to me is just a little shady wording from AP News. I don't like it. We give it a 2 thumbs down. We hate to see it. Okay, so continuing. It definitely hits a lot harder when it's not only your hometown, but also right in front of you. Resident Ron T. said as he and a friend returned to a parade route Monday evening to retrieve chairs, blankets, and a child's bike that he and his family abandoned when the shooting began. It's commonplace now, he said, of what he called yet another American atrocity. We don't blink anymore. Until laws change, it's going to be more of the same. But my guy, pause there for just 1 second, Mr. T, because doesn't Chicago have some of the, like, most stringent gun laws in the country? Is that not true that, you know, as you guys claim that more and more laws are going to stop these mass murders and mass shootings, or just shootings in general, isn't it true that criminals still continue to break the law and still continue to disregard laws? Every new law that you make, does a criminal ever give a fuck about it? No. It doesn't. It does not. Like, so actually, maybe what could have actually prevented this would have been, you know, if this young man, who I will not name, who is very disturbing looking, I will just say that. I don't want to show his picture or name his name on this podcast, because I think that only gives further cause for somebody who is looking for, you know, some sort of fame from doing one of these types of shootings. It just gives them further cause. But I will say that this person looked very demented, and he looked like he was a cry for help. So why don't we work on, you know, strengthening our family units and building those bonds that actually create, you know, thriving children and thriving individuals that could possibly go on one day to make society better instead of doing these horrific crimes, these mass shootings. Why don't we think about those sorts of things? And, you know, school shootings. Everyone always wants to cry about guns and cry about, you know, there's too many guns on the street, but like, my guy, how many of these guns and these crimes and these atrocities are coming from criminals? And I don't care if in situations that these young men acquire these guns legally, there's still warning signs of them being somewhat sick in the head and someone who is prone to commit a crime like this, that it gives no excuse. It actually gives no excuse to say that, oh, well, he obtained the gun legally, so there's a problem with the system. No. There's a problem with parenting. There's a problem with our families. There's a problem with the lack of God in the family and in the individuals in this country. That is the only problem that we have. So I just want to also get into this last story before we go about, speaking of problems in the home and just problems with individuals and not necessarily being the gun crimes. There was a story out of New York about a young woman who was pushing her 3-month-old in a stroller and was shot point blank range, and was killed, was murdered on the streets of New York with her child still in the stroller. And they just recently caught this individual, I understand, which is great. That's great to hear. And from what I understand, it is also, I believe, the girl's ex-boyfriend, who there were signs of domestic abuse beforehand. There was notifications to police about the ongoing abuse that was happening during this relationship, and nothing was done about it. In this case, the system truly did fail this woman, but it goes back to the mental health, and it goes back to young people who are crying out for help, who are scared, who are lost in this world. We have not provided a thriving and a healthy society for these young people that are coming up, and we all know how hard it is growing up in your 20s, in your early 20s, late teens, how hard it is coming of age in that age bracket. And have we as a society, as a country, as a people, provided any sort of, you know, healthy environment for these young people? No, we haven't. And that's really what we need to work on. That is the root cause of this issue. It is not guns. Guns do not do these crimes. Criminals, people who are sick, do these crimes. And so I just want to get into the unelected governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. And I really hate this woman. She gives, and hate's a strong word, guys, and I even hate to use it. I do. But I really loathe this woman. She's not only unelected, she is an idiot. She makes women look bad. And this is why I come down so hard on women politicians. And Kamala Harris, people like that are the reason why I come down hard on women politicians, because they give a bad name. It's not that I feel like all women should not be politicians or be whatever. It's that incompetent women and women who are clearly just there because they were defaulted, because Andrew Cuomo couldn't keep his hands to himself. And so this woman had to just come in unelected and say shit like this, guys. So let's listen to her statements in regards to this crime that happened in New York City, okay?
Do you have the numbers to show that it's the concealed carry permit holders that are committing crimes?
I don't need to have numbers.
Oh, no?
I don't have to have a data point to
You
point
don't?
to say that this is going to... All I
What?
know is I have a responsibility to the people of this state to have sensible gun safety laws.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You have a responsibility to the people of the state of New York to know what the fuck it is you're talking about. You are a disgrace, lady. And you are really just embarrassing as a woman. And I don't know how you can fix your mouth to say that. To say that I don't need numbers. I don't need data. Oh, no, you don't? Because I'm pretty sure it's your side, the left, that is always crying and screaming over data points that are quite irrelevant. And in this case, the journalists asked an actually very good question about how many, because they cry about the law that just came down from the Supreme Court saying that it was unconstitutional that people in New York City were allowed to conceal carry. And they want to cry about that law and say that the Supreme Court got it wrong and say that people in New York City should not be allowed to conceal carry, which is their constitutional right. And so the governor of New York has the audacity to come up here and fix her face to say she doesn't know the data points. She doesn't know how many concealed carry permit holders commit these violent crimes in New York City. Maybe you should know, Kathy Hochul. Maybe you should know these points. Because I guarantee you that the 22-year-old suspect in the crime of killing his ex-girlfriend in cold blood on the street with their infant in the stroller, I guarantee you, ma'am, that was not a concealed carry permit holder. Something's telling me that no, it's not a concealed carry holder. It's a thug on the streets doing crime. You guys want to turn a blind eye to it and act like it's all right-wing activists or right-wing enthusiasts or whatever, white supremacists. Y'all want to perpetuate the stereotype of what is going on, and y'all just want to cover up the actuality of the matter, which is that criminals are out here committing crimes and y'all refuse to actually do anything about it or to catch these people and take them off the streets. You'd rather virtue signal. And you know what? That's disgusting. So there's nothing else I can say besides, guys, please let me know what y'all think in the comments. This topic always gets me very heated. I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment and a very big supporter. And so you can't really convince me of anything else otherwise. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Please hit subscribe, like, everything, guys. I would appreciate it so much. Again, happy 4th of July to everyone, late of course, but we're still here. And guys, I'll see y'all next time. Okay, until next time, bye.